Hey guys, welcome back to your mindset, your power. Something has been on my mind lately. Yep, it's been sticking with me. So let's talk about it together. It's not about the future, not about someday. It's about how we are living right now. Because the moments we have right in front of us are the ones that count the most. Legacy doesn't begin at the end of life. Legacy is built in how we live today. It shows up in how we respond when we're tired, in the tone we use when we are under pressure, in whether we're truly present or just trying to get through the moment. And the reality is, most days, we're not even thinking about legacy at all, right? We're just managing life, getting through the day, doing what needs to be done. And that's not wrong. But what often gets overlooked is how we are showing up while we're doing it. And whether we realize it or not, we are already leaving a legacy. Not in big accomplishments or special situations, no, but in how we show up day after day. This episode is not about adding more to your plate or trying to become a different person. No, my friend, it's not about replaying your past or judging yourself for what you didn't do. No, it's about gently asking yourself, does the way I'm showing up today align with how I want to be remembered? So let's talk, friend to friend, about the legacy we're building, not someday, today. And I would like to start talking about why legacy isn't what you leave behind. Because when we hear the word legacy, most of us automatically think of something big, right? Something that happens later, something we leave behind one day. But legacy doesn't work that way, my friend. Legacy is built while we're still here. It's not the speech someone gives about you someday. No, it's what the people closest to you experience from you over time. It shows up in how you talk to your kids when you're tired, how you treat your parents as they get older, how you show up at work when no one is clapping, and how you handle frustrations, disappointment, or stress in real situations. That's where legacy lives, in the everyday moments, in the patterns you repeat day after day. The people closest to you are not paying attention to whether you get everything right. No, they're paying attention to how you show up when things don't go your way. They notice how you respond when plans change, how you speak about yourself, how you handle mistakes, whether you pause and take responsibility or move on without acknowledging them. And whether we like it or not, my friend, we are always modeling something, especially for children. Because children don't remember our advice. They remember the patterns they learn by watching us. They notice how we handle stress, how present we are when they need us, how we speak when we are overwhelmed, how we repair when we mess up. And here's the part that is both humbling and empowering. You are someone's example every single day. Not because you're trying to be, but because people learn from how you behave, not from what you say. The way you show up when nothing is at stake is the legacy people live with. And I want to be clear. This is not about pressure. It's not about never messing up. No. Some of the most meaningful lessons we leave behind don't come from getting things right. They come from how we respond when we get things wrong. Think about it for a moment. You come home after a long day. You're tired. Your patience is low. And someone you love said something. And then you snap. Not because they deserved it, but because you were overwhelmed, tired, and in a bad mood. Legacy is not about never having those moments. Legacy is about what happens next, how you respond. Do you pretend it didn't happen? Do you justify it? Or do you come back later and say, hey, I didn't handle that well. I'm really sorry. That moment right there matters. Not the mistake, the ownership. So when we talk about legacy, we're not talking about perfection. We are talking about what people experience from us over time, especially in the everyday moments. And once you start seeing legacy like that way, something else becomes clear. Not just what we're doing, but what you keep postponing, what gets left unchecked. This is the part we don't slow down enough to look at because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to stay busy than to pause and face the things we have been avoiding, right? So a lot of what matters most gets pushed to the side. Not because we don't care, but because we're tired, we're distracted, overwhelmed. So we tell ourselves things like, I'll call them later. I'll spend more time when things calm down. I'll have that conversation when I'm in a better headspace. I'll slow down when this season is over. And I want to be clear here, my friend, because life is real. There are seasons where we are surviving, not thriving. But here's the hard truth. Most seasons don't magically calm down. They just get replaced by the next one. So when we keep postponing what matters, we don't just delay it for a week. We sometimes delay it for years. The truth is, most days don't feel significant while we're living them, right? Until we realize they're the ones that shaped our life. And what usually gets left unchecked isn't the obvious or loud things. It's the way we show up with the people closest to us, the ones who love us the most. Think about aging parents. So many of us assume there will be more time, more phone calls, more visits, more chances to ask questions and really listen to the answers. But one day, we realize we don't remember the last story they told because we were only half listening. One day, you realize you were physically there, but mentally somewhere else. And that doesn't mean you are a bad person. It makes you human because you live in a loud, busy world. Now, think about your kids or your partner or close friends. How easy it is to give them the leftovers, to be in the same room, but not truly connected. To say, in a minute, so many times that it becomes your default response. And then there are the conversations we avoid, the apology we know we owe, the boundary we know we need, the truth we keep swallowing just to keep the peace. And it's not that you don't know what needs to be said or done. It's that You don't want to feel that discomfort that comes with it. And this is the part I want to say with a lot of compassion, my friend. Most regrets don't come from one big mistake. No, it comes from the small things we kept delaying. The call you didn't make, the question you didn't ask, the moment you rushed through, the words you kept inside. This is this isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to gently wake you up while you still have time. Because noticing what's been left unchecked is not a failure, it's information. It's the moment you get to say, okay, I see it, and I don't want to keep showing up this way. And that's where legacy starts to shift. Not because you have fixed anything, but because you have become aware of how you've been showing up. And here's the important part, my friend. Awareness is the first step, but awareness alone doesn't change your legacy overnight. What actually changes is what you do after you notice. And here's why this matters when we talk about legacy. Legacy doesn't change just because we become aware of something. It changes when we respond differently to the same situations consistently. Think about muscle memory. You don't change your body with one workout, right? You change it by repeating small movements over and over again. Legacy works the same way. It doesn't shift because of one bold decision. It shifts through small responses, practiced day after day. And I've learned this in my own life. There are days when I'm so overtired, overwhelmed, and on edge. And someone I love asks me something, and I can feel that reaction rise. What have changed over time is not that those moments disappeared. No, I still get tired. I still get overwhelmed. But what have changed is that I notice it sooner. Awareness didn't make me perfect, my friend. It made me more responsive instead of reactive. And that's what actually shapes legacy. Because most of the moments that shape how people remember us are small. They're not loud. They're not complicated. Most of the time, it's just about pausing for a second, watching your tone, choosing to come back and make things right. It's about responding with just a little more intention than you did before. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to notice the moment you're in and respond a little differently that you might have in the past. That's the 1% shift. And over time, those small choices do something very powerful. They don't just change the moment you're in, they change how people feel around you. And that is what legacy is made of, my friend. That is legacy in action. So now let's bring it all together. When we look at how we show up, what we postpone, and how we respond, legacy stops being a big idea and becomes something real, something you live one day at a time. And I want to remind you, this is not about perfection. It's not about never messing up. It's not about measuring yourself against someone else's life. It's about showing up as fully as you can, even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, because that's what leaves a mark. That's what creates a life worth remembering. That's what builds a legacy worth living. So maybe today you notice something you have been putting off, a conversation you haven't had, time you haven't spent with someone you love, a choice you have been avoiding. You don't need to do everything at once, my friend. You just need to do something, one honest, intentional step. And remember, the people around you are watching, whether you mean to or not. Not in a pressure way, but in a human way. They watch how you handle mistakes, how you come back and repair, how you offer patience, how you choose presence. That's your legacy in action. And the incredible thing is, you get to decide what that looks like starting right now. So take a breath, look at the life you're living, and ask yourself gently, but honestly, am I showing up the way I want to be remembered? If this version of me is remembered, am I okay with that? And if the answer isn't a full yes yet, that's okay. Because it's never too late to start, my friend. Start small, start imperfectly, but start now, today. Legacy isn't about someday, it's about today. The love you give, the honesty you choose, the presence you bring. And when you do that again and again, you will look back one day, not with regret, but with a quiet, powerful sense of pride. I tried, I showed up, I lived intentionally. And that, my friend, that's the life well lived. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone you love, someone who might need this reminder right now. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, your mindset is not just how you think, it's where your power begins. Have an awesome week, my friend. Love you guys.